We all know the story. Jesus goes into the desert and the devil tempts him. Simple, right? Except, what if that never really happened the way we think it did? What if the desert wasn't about temptation at all, but about integration? Because maybe Matthew chapter 4 isn't a story of good versus evil. Maybe it's a story about what happens when the mind meets itself in isolation. After his baptism, Jesus is led by the Spirit into the wilderness, which sounds cruel, like divine exile. But in mythology, deserts aren't punishment, they're laboratories. Moses, Elijah, Buddha, all of them meet transformation in isolation. Why? Because when there's nothing left to distract you, the only thing left to confront is yourself. Modern psychology calls this sensory deprivation. When external noise fades, your brain starts to generate its own. People in float tanks, astronauts, long-distance sailors all report vivid hallucinations, dialogues, or inner voices. Sound familiar? That's exactly what happens in Matthew 4. The word devil comes from diabolos, literally the divider. Not a red-horned monster, but a mental function, the part of the mind that splits itself, questions itself, and argues with itself. So maybe the devil wasn't external at all. Maybe it was the voice inside, the inner narrator that says, if you really are who you think you are, prove it. That's not a demon, that's doubt, the evolutionary cost of self-awareness. Neuroscientists call this the default mode network, the system that activates when we're not doing anything. It replays memories, simulates futures, and argues imaginary arguments. It's the voice that can make paradise feel like exile. So when Jesus hears the tempter, he's really meeting his own mind and mastering it. Temptation number 1, survival. Turn these stones into bread. Translation, use your power to feed yourself. That's not sin, it's biology. Every organism's first instinct is survival. But the question here is deeper. Should power always serve appetite? In evolutionary terms, restraint is an anomaly. Animals eat when they can. Humans are the only species that fast voluntarily. To prove meaning outweighs hunger. When Jesus refuses, he's not rejecting food, he's asserting that consciousness isn't ruled by biology. That's the birth of ethics, the moment thought overrides instinct. Temptation number 2, control. Next, the devil takes him to the pinnacle of the temple. Throw yourself down. Let the angels catch you. It's not about pride, it's about proof. The temptation to perform divinity, to turn belief into spectacle. That's still our struggle today, to turn worth into content, miracles into metrics, to prove ourselves through visibility. But every time we do that, we hand the devil our algorithm. Validation becomes the new god. Temptation number 3, dominion. Finally, the devil shows Jesus all the kingdoms of the world. All this I will give you if you bow to me. That's the purest test of all, control. But there's a catch. The offer is fake. The devil doesn't own the kingdoms. He only owns attention. That's how power works today. Not by force, but by focus. Whoever controls attention controls the world. So when Jesus says, "Be gone," he's not banishing a monster. He's reclaiming attention. He's saying, I decide what I look at. And that's the real exorcism. The return from the desert. After 40 days, he leaves the wilderness and begins to teach. The story flips from isolation to impact, the same pattern every creator follows. You go quiet, then you emerge with something worth saying. Even God apparently takes time offline before going public. So maybe the devil didn't tempt Jesus. Maybe Jesus tested consciousness itself. He walked into silence, met every primitive urge, hunger, validation, control, and answered each with attention, restraint, and presence. That's not mythology. That's mental evolution. Because before the miracles, before the movement, there was a man in the desert, listening to his own mind and choosing harmony over noise.